Hello and welcome. We're talking with Jerry Dwyer, Market Manager for Heat Treat and Black Oxide for Hubbard Hall. Today we're going to talk about black oxide and the safety features with that. Jerry, first tell us about the basic chemistry that people need to know about black oxide.
Yes, the basic chemistry of black oxide, talking about what's in the tank, would be really three main components. You're dealing with sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, and caustic soda, which is sodium hydroxide. So those are the three main components for making up a black oxide solution.
So, what do you think are the top three concerns that users should keep in mind when working with black oxide?
Well, number one, the pH of the system is extremely alkaline. So that's going to have it can cause severe burns if we're not careful and not protected properly. Second would be the elevated temperature this system operates at. We're talking 285 degrees Fahrenheit, which is extremely hot. And so that poses its own hazard. And the third takeaway, I think, would be to always make sure you have the proper protective equipment on when you're at the tank or around the system, and be aware of or have knowledge of how to turn on the system properly and also how to turn off the system.
So, what precautions or steps would a person take to ensure their safety around the black oxide process?
Well, number one would be to have respect for the system. As we mentioned, we're dealing with a concentrated chemistry at elevated temperatures. So it has potential hazards, and we have to always be aware of that. Becoming overconfident, too, it can cause problems. You might be working the line for years and never see an accident or a potential accident and get a little overconfident and maybe not put on your proper protective gear. And that's when accidents always happen, when you're not really prepared for them. And I kind of liken it to, driving a car. As we all learned how to drive cars as young people, they didn't just put us in the car and give us the keys. They sat us in that vehicle, showed us where the safety belts were, where the turn signals are, adjusting the mirrors, being aware of your surroundings, knowing the rules of the road, and how to reach out for help if you do have an accident. Well, black oxide systems and any chemical systems really are no different. We have to be aware of the potential dangers. We have to prep for it, wearing the proper protective equipment, such as face shield, eyeglasses, protective eyeglasses, helmet. I need a full body apron, gloves, and protective boots. And we have to, just protect our bodies from any potential contact with the chemistry itself. Also, too, as I mentioned in the car analogy, being aware of your surroundings. We have to be aware of where the eye wash station is, where the body shower is. Make sure it's operational. Make sure you realize, you understand how to use it. And so that's just in case you do have contact with the solution, you have to quickly remove it to minimize any kind of danger or damage that might occur.
So I know you've covered a lot of topics with safety, but are there any other safety concerns for working around hot black the oxide systems?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I want to discuss briefly the proper startup and shutdown of systems, the black oxide system, because the black oxide tank it boils at 285 degrees, and water is injected into the system to keep it at that temperature. When you turn off a system, you have to turn off the water first. You have to remember to shut off the water supply first and then turn off the energy to the system. And the reason being is that you can If water is called for after the system's been turned off, it could still discharge the water onto the tank, but due to the viscosity difference between the solution and the water, you could have stratification where the water remains on the surface of the tank and it will just rest. And the water, once the tank reaches temperature, the water can quickly mix with the chemistry and cause a violent reaction. And that could release a lot of the solution into the surrounding area. And of all the time I've been in this business for over 35 years, that is really where the most severe um, accidents have happened, when people forget to turn off the water supply prior to turning off the system itself. And again, the next time the system is heated up, you want to make sure the solution's stirred properly. Just make sure there's no water, there's no potential risk of having that sudden mix of water to chemistry. Mix it and then heat it up. And then once the system's at temperature, turn the water supply back on.
So if people need more information about black oxide, where can they get more details?
They can go to the Hubbard Hall website and search under black oxide, and there they'll find additional information. Also, too, the tech sheets, the safety data sheets, but also videos on how to properly start up a tank and turn off a system.